Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. My name is Jerry and I'm hailing you from the Antari shipyard, and today I am pulling out an old video style that I used to do called the Captain's Table. For those of you who are brand new to the channel or maybe haven't seen a Captain's Table episode yet, the Captain's Table is just a place where I take a faction pack and I break it down. We look at each card in the pack in detail and we look for combos or defenses against that card. We kind of break down the mechanics of the card if there are any new kind of mechanics. It's going to be a long form video, so I will give you that red alert warning right now. And today we're going to be going over Adversaries of the Delta Quadrant. So please join me, pull up a chair to the captain's table, and let's get started. So the first cards we're going to break down are going to be your ship cards that came in Adversaries. So card number one is the Antari Shadow. It is a Numeri patrol ship, which is brand new to the game. We don't have this class in the game before. Granted, it's not a new mold, but in true Star Trek fashion, the developer of the faction pack went and said, hey, Star Trek loves to reuse models. How about we reuse the model? We repaint the Bajoran scout ship to match this episode from Voyager, where they did the exact same thing. And lo and behold, it got approved, and now we have a Numeri patrol ship. So when attacking, the roll attack dice step. If the defending ship has a hull value less than this ship, you get to roll +1 attack dice. Very cool ability there. It's nothing that we've seen in Attack Wing yet, where it's looking at the hull for attack dice. We have seen Captain Skill before. So naturally, to me, this ship pairs very well with Car, because you get +1 attack dice if you have a higher Captain Skill. So that's something you can do. The other thing I thought of was Reinforced Hull from one of the Alliance. I think it was Alliance 2, where the Klingons, where you get to add +2 to your hull value. So now all of a sudden your Antari Shadow can have a hull value of 7, and that will pretty much make sure that you have a better hull value than mostly everybody on the board. And of course, I did put the maneuver cards in and the generic. As you can see, the maneuver cards, the Numeri patrol ship has a 4 and 5 come about, which is also fairly new to the game to be called out like that. So a fairly maneuverable ship. It's only got the 2 hard turns, but that's okay. Overall, I think the ship is very, very interesting, and I look forward to actually getting it on the board and trying it out in a fleet. So that's the first ship in the pack. Second ship is also brand new. It is the Narada type. Again, same kind of story as the Antari Shadow, but this one is the Romulan science ship painted gold and flown backwards on screen. So that is the model that we got, painted gold, and they placed the peg in it so that it does fly the correct way as shown on screen. 3-2-3-3, so it's a fairly small ship. Tech, weapon, crew coming in at 18 points. Evade, scan, battle stations as your actions. When attacking, modify attack dice step. If the defending ship is in the forward firing arc of a friendly ship, that ship is within range of one of this ship, you get to add a hit. So naturally, my brain went to, okay, we're going to add hits now. So pair it with other cards that add hits. You've got Chemosight here that does the same thing. It adds a hit when you discard it. Graviton Telescope, if you got a scan token, you get to add a hit too. Then you got Mr. Spock, and he says that you may add a battle station, and then if you have a scan token, the ship may add a hit instead. So you could make Mr. Spock the captain, and have Graviton Telescope equipped, and do your battle station as your action, or I'm sorry, do scan as your action, and then all of a sudden Mr. Spock and the Graviton Telescope is going to go off. Actually, no, that only goes off 1 scan token. So if you can figure out a way to get a second scan token, then you get to add 2 hits. And then, of course, you got the Tetryon particle weapon. Place 2 time tokens on this and target an opposing ship, range 1 to 3. Hits and crits from this attack cannot be modified, rerolled, or canceled by opposing card effects. So cool. All of your hits are going to go through no matter what the opponent does. That's an errata type only, so that's a card exclusive to the ship class. So that's kind of cool there too. All right, so we're getting into the Vidian Battlecruiser here. This is the Hanata Prime, 3253. You got two weapon slots, two crew slots at 23 points. You got your standard Federation action bar. When attacking, modify attack dice step. You may convert one blank into one hit for each crew upgrade equipped to the defending ship. Okay, so this is based on crew equipped to the defending ship. So if you are playing people who love to play Federation, you know they bring clown cars full of crew. So that's something that you can look at there. The other way you can do this is core. You can have core. He adds a crew slot onto your upgrade bar, and then core allows you to reroll for your crew as well. So you may reroll your dice into blanks, and then based on the number of crew on the defending ship, you get to convert those blanks into hits. Um, so at that point, you could possibly be rolling your your battle station results for blanks. You don't need to have battle station results to do anything. Of course, again, car pairs well with this. You get to roll plus one attack dice, and then the second part of the ability is kind of why I put him here. Is you may re-roll one of your attack dice up to 2 times. Um, Same thing with Natasha Yar. You get to re-roll up to 3 of your attack dice, and then Dimitri Valtain, if you have a scan token, you get to re-roll up to 2 of your attack dice. So basically, you're trying to roll for those blanks so that you can convert them into hits based on how many crew the defending ship has. And then we got Hypothermic Charge. Attack, place 2 time tokens on this card and target an opposing ship at range 1 to 2. All damage inflicted by this attack ignores the defending ship's shields. If the defending ship has no active shields, you may re-roll any number of attack dice. Now notice, the Hanada Prime only calls out when attacking, modify attack dice step. Doesn't say primary weapon, doesn't say secondary weapon, so that goes for any attack that the Hanada Prime is making. So if you're doing a hypothermic charge attack, you definitely get to re-roll those dice. So very interesting ship. Probably one of the better Vidian ships out there. The Vidians are really starting to get some teeth, and I'm glad to see it. So going into the fourth ship, we've got the Fena Prime, Vidian Battlecruiser. Action, place a Aux Power token beside the ship and target an opposing ship within range 1 to 2. Destroy 1 shield on the target ship. So this is not the first time we've seen a Fena Prime. We do have an original release of the Fena Prime, but I believe this card is much better than that. Plus, you're going to be destroying shields. So you can obviously pair the Fena Prime with the Harvester Prime. And the Harvester Prime disables you disable any number of active shields on this ship and target an opposing ship within range 1 to 3. Disable the same number of active shields minus 1 on the target ship. So, if you are facing off against a ship that has 3 shields, you can use Fena Prime's action to knock those shields down to 2, and then you can go at the start of the combat phase, disable disable 3 shields, so you'd have to turn off all your shields on Harvester Prime, but you'd be turning off the shields on that ship. And that could have other effects like getting rid of any kind of shield boosting cards that the ship have. Shield adaptation that can get rid of that. So it's kind of a defense there, but it's interesting, this concept of turning shields off and then being able to do things. And of course, I put Montgomery Scott here because anytime we're talking about Aux Power tokens, we've got multiple ways to deal with those now in the game. Montgomery Scott is probably one of the best ways to do it. Alright, going into the fifth ship, we've got the Relic Stalker, which is a Hirogen warship. Brand new Hirogen warship. Love to see it. After moving, if you are within range 1 to 3 of an opposing ship, you may place a battle stations token beside this ship. So anytime you move within range of an enemy ship, you're going to get a battle stations token. Doesn't say it has to be in your forward firing arc, just anytime you're within range 1 to 3. Worf. When attacking, during the modify attack dice step, spend a battle station token beside the ship. Convert all blanks to hits. So Worf pairs well with this ship, so you can make him the captain here. You've got the brand new Savick. At any time, you may disable this card and replace a scan or a battle station with an evade. So say you've made all your attacks and you're not going to use your battle station, you can disable Savick to change that battle station over to an evade to help you. Lon Suitor, you can spend that battle station token to add an additional attack dice, so you can beef your attack that way. You got the Federation Photon Torpedoes, which converts all of your blanks to battle stations. You get a free battle stations token here. The trick, of course, it's range 1 to 3, so staying at range of 2 to 3 and being able to use those battle stations over and over again is great. Plus, those photon torpedoes would be a 5 dice attack. Then you got Telev here. When this ship spends an evade or a battle station token, you get to target a friendly ship and hand that token to that ship too. And of course, you got the brand new Rolair here. You spend your battle stations token and target an opposing ship within a range of 1 to 3. The target ship can only attack in initiative order with its printed captain skill on the captain equipped to it. A ship without a captain equipped to it is treated as having a printed skill of 1, and it cannot cancel attacks from the ship this game round. So Rolarin is your defense against cards like Lurin's Bird of Prey. It says, nope, you cannot attack when you want to. You have to attack in initiative order. So she's an interesting kind of cog to throw into this if you're going to do a build with the Relic Stalker. All right. So going to the sixth and final ship in this pack, we have the Alpha Hunter. Now, this is one of the first errata cards we're going to see throughout this series. What an errata means is the old card is pretty much thrown out and the new card replaces it completely. And there are very many reasons why this is actually a good thing that we're seeing now. Mainly because, and we're going to talk about this more when we get into the other faction packs, but the erratas are cleaning up a lot of the card text and kind of defining and clearing up their stages, when they're supposed to be used. And this is a great example of it. So the old card for Alpha Hunter states, after you move, you may perform a sensor echo action with a 1 maneuver template as a free action, even if you are not cloaked. So that ability text right there locked you into a 1 maneuver template only. Worf ruled that since it states that, you cannot use cards like Sinon or anything to change your sensor echo action, to change the template that you use for that sensor echo. The new Alpha Hunter just states, after moving, the ship may perform a sensor echo action as a free action. Does not call any templates, which means that you can use Sinon, who states that you can use a 1, 2, or 3 movement template to use that sensor echo, or you can use other things like Romulan cloaking device or ventral thrusters, which I think we'll see here. Yeah, so you got Sinon, ventral thrusters, double back, Romulan cloaking device allow you to use different templates. So all of those cards are back into play now with the Alpha Hunter. And of course, one of the first thoughts I had was, oh, this ship likes the sensor echo. Who loves to sensor echo? Laris. Laris loves sensor echoing. So combat phase, if the ship performs a sensor echo action this game round, place a battle stations token besides this ship, and this ship rolls +1 attack dice this game round. So he's giving you a bunch of bonuses to get you a 5 dice attack, 6 dice attack if you're at range 1. Of course, like I said, Sinon allows you to extend that maneuver template. Ventral thrusters allows you to use banks, same with Romulan cloaking device. And then double back, after performing a sensor echo action, you may discard this card to immediately perform a 1 or 2 full astern maneuver. So reverses. Very, very good card. I prefer this version of the Alpha Hunter. The cleaned up wording makes it so much more usable, and it's definitely going to be something that I'm going to be looking at to making a fleet here shortly. So that is all of the named ships that come in the pack. I believe we are moving on to captains now. So the first captain in this pack is Albin. He is a Nasari captain. When this ship or a friendly ship within range 1 to 2 attacks, roll attack dice step. If the captain and or any crew upgrades equipped to the defending ship have any tokens on their card, the attacking ship rolls +1 attack dice. If this ship or that friendly ship is a Narada type, that ship may reroll 1 blank. He's a skill 5, elite talent slot, cost of 3. So basically, he wants the other person to have tokens on their cards. Now, note that it doesn't state what kind of token. Now, there are many, many tokens in the game. So, where I went first was okay, we want disabled tokens. So, you can have Koth and Jennifer Sisko add disabled tokens at the start of the game. But breaking it down a little more, again, it doesn't say specifically what kind of tokens. So, you can use things like biomimetic gel to give a token on to a crew upgrade on the opposing ship, and you get to take advantage of Albin. But take that one step further. The Borg Queen, for example, at the start of the game, you place 9 drone tokens on her card. Those are still tokens. They're on her captain card. So Albin works against the Borg. Gint, the Ferengi captain, you place 2 gold pressed latinum tokens. Those are tokens. You get to Albin works against the Ferengi. You got a card like Michael Eddington, who at the start of the game placed 3 mission tokens on this card. Again, those are tokens. It's in the name. Albin works with those too. So there are a lot of combinations that allow Albin to work. He is very, very flexible in the game, and we all know tokens kind of rule the game. So you've got bunches and bunches of Federation crew that use time tokens. Those are tokens. You got disabled tokens that fly all over the place. So we've got multiple tokens that Albin will work with, and that's kind of a neat concept, and I really, really, really enjoy that. The next captain in the list is Gaul. He is a Vaadwaur captain, skill 8, cost of 4. When attacking, modify attack dice step. If the defending ship either performed a center echo action or an additional maneuver this game round, you get to add a crit. So the whole point of Gaul is to punish you for moving. He does not like you moving where you're not supposed to be, center echoing out of the way, doing additional maneuvers, anything. He wants you to be where he needs you to be. So, Romulan Cloaking Device, Tom Paris, Maxwell Forrest, Sanders, Gaul is a natural combo to all of these cards I got listed here. I didn't pair him with anything. I decided to show cards that he was good against. And really, it's all of these. The Alpha Hunter, the brand new Alpha Hunter, Geordie LaForge doing a green maneuver on the dial, Forrest, all of it. And to me, that feels very thematic and very Vaadwaurian of him. So Gaul is a interesting captain, very, very high captain skill, so it's possible, especially if you've got a meta where you've got a player that loves to do Romulan stuff and loves to bank and do all this, you could use Gaul and try and kind of thwart that. Alright, so going into the third captain, this is Dala. So Dala has, I'm not going to lie, Dala has a lot of contention around her. A lot of people dislike her, but we'll get into that. So let's read her card first. So we got Dala, just a normal captain. Add 1 crew slot to the ship's upgrade bar. Setup. Target an opposing ship and place a reputation permanent effect token besides the target ship. So that's during the setup part. That's after ships have been placed and everything. So you're going to target an opposing ship and give them a reputation token. Permanent effect. For the rest of the game, each other ship treats the ship with the reputation permanent effect token beside it as an opposing ship for all game effects. That ship is still a part of its original owner's fleet. So her ability is very thematic to the episode that she came from, where she was playing a con artist, impersonating USS Voyager, impersonating Janeway, and giving Janeway a very, very bad reputation through the sectors that they were operating in. Which makes sense because when people encountered the real Janeway, they were very hostile to her. So her permanent effect token essentially states, hey, your ship is still a part of your fleet, but it is not friendly to the other ships in your fleet. So if you've got any kind of synergy builds, Dala is a disruption to that. And that's why a lot of people don't like her. They don't like her because of her timing, is really what it is. And the fact that it's a permanent effect token. Um, but there are ways around it. She is a lot better than another card in this pack in terms of having a counter to it. So, one of the first natural counters I come to is logic is the beginning of wisdom. Now, granted, if you're building a fleet to counter Dala, you're going to be stuck running some kind of Captain Vulcan ship fleet to get logic is the beginning of wisdom out here. Now, logic logic is the beginning of wisdom states activation phase. You target a ship, range 1 to 2. You place a time token, continuous effect token, or permanent effect token from this ship or a card equipped to this ship on the target ship or a card equipped to the target ship of the same type. So that's one way to move around um, that permanent effect token. Another way, and I didn't list it on here, and I should have, is it was brought to my attention recently is concussive charge. It's a Klingon weapon that allows you to do an attack, and then you can remove a token of your choice. Another interesting thing that was brought up, I was watching Steven Vanderventer's video on Adversaries of the Delta Quadrant and him talking about some of the cards that came in this pack. Dala allows you to negotiate with yourself. So you do setup phase, then you go into negotiations. Those happen during the setup phase as well. So it's possible that you get stuck with a reputation token, and then Neelix can negotiate with your ship that has that token, and you can negotiate favorable terms for yourself. Very interesting there. The three bottom cards, well, the two bottom cards, Nacho and Clark Terrell, those are the kind of synergy cards that I'm talking about where they're handing attack dice or defense dice off to ships in your fleet that are within range. Dala definitely breaks that up. She also breaks up Lern's Bird of Prey, so yet another counter in this pack to Lern's Bird of Prey, where you give Lern's Bird of Prey the effect token, or because Lern's Bird of Prey requires another friendly Ferengi ship with a Ferengi captain. So typically, when you see fleets that are built around Lern's Bird of Prey, you've got Lern's Bird of Prey, and then you've got another Ferengi ship with a Ferengi captain, and that's it. You don't see any other more than two typically. So you're able to put a token on either the Ferengi captain, or I'm sorry, the Ferengi ship or Lern's Bird of Prey. And if you do either, that breaks up Lern's Bird of Prey, and now you can't do Lern's Bird of Prey's ability, which states that if there's an opposing ship in the primary fire arc of this ship and the primary fire arc of another friendly Ferengi ship with a Ferengi captain, this ship attacks first this game round, and then your friendly Ferengi ship attacks second. That's gone. You can't do that anymore. Same thing with Maxwell Forest. If the ship that has the token wants to reach out and use Maxwell Forest, who's on a friendly ship in your fleet, you can't anymore because you have to be friendly in order to use admirals. And to kind of back me up on that, I did pull what it states in the core rulebook. You can find this on page 24. It says once per round, one friendly ship within range 1 to 3 of the admiral ship or the admiral ship itself may perform the fleet action listed on that fleet admiral's card instead of performing its normal action. So, if the ship that Dala targeted does not have Admiral Forest, it can't reach out to another ship to use Admiral Forest. If the ship that Dala did target has Admiral Forest on it, no other ship can reach out and use Forest. The opposing ship still can, but the other ships cannot in that fleet. So Dala, she's very contentious, but I think she's good for the game. I think there are enough counters around her that you can make up for her shortfalls or the mistimings or whatever you want to call them. The next captain in this pack is Yasek. He's a Hazari captain. Set up, target an opposing ship, and place a bounty permanent effect token besides the target ship. The permanent effect. For the rest of the game, each ship in play converts either one blank or one battle station into one hit each time they attack a ship with a bounty permanent effect token beside it. That's skill 7, elite talent slot cost 3. That's very cheap for skill 3, but I like this effect too. It's not as devastating as Dala, but it gives you, again, a permanent effect token that allows you to add a hit. It allows you to do some kind of passive conversion. Again, this is a permanent effect token, so one of the natural counters is going to be logic is the beginning of wisdom. And then, of course, you've got your photon torpedoes, which you convert all blanks to battle stations, so you can use this in conjunction with USEC to convert one of those. Scout 609. I'm not exactly sure why I put him here. I actually think those are all filler, and I forgot to remove them, so we'll just go ahead and ignore those. I apologize. Alright, so we got Dureth. He's the Vidian captain, skill 3, elite talent slot, cost of 2. Free action, if you performed a speed 3 or greater maneuver this round, target an opposing ship within range 1. Disable one crew upgrade equipped to that target ship. Okay, so Dureth is doing very Vidian things here. So, one of the things I thought he'd be paired well with, again, because this is a free action, and then you can use second of 5 to knock out a second crew as your action. Now, he pairs well with second of 5. You also have Vidian Sodality that he pairs well with, which states this card may be only equipped to a Vidian captain. When this ship or card equipped to it disables or discards a crew upgrade equipped to an opposing ship, place one mission token on this card. When an independent crew upgrade or captain equipped to this ship would be discarded, you may discard one mission token from this card instead. So it definitely helps build Vidian Sodality up. But now we got some counters. We've got Catherine Janeway here, who states that anytime an opposing effect would steal or discard a crew, Catherine Janeway gets to do a free attack. Jean-Luc Picard, each time an opposing effect would discard, steal, or place any time tokens or disable tokens on a crew upgrade equipped to his ship, you may have a weapon upgrade equipped to the ship become the target instead. So they're trying to disable weapons, or they're trying to disable crew. Second of 5 is trying to discard a crew. Picard can kind of counter both of those. And of course, you got the Doctor. When a Federation crew upgrade equipped to the ship is discarded by any opposing effect, place that upgrade beneath this card. And then he got an action is disable this card, equip one crew upgrade beneath this card to the ship, ignoring the ship's restrictions, and then place 2 time tokens on that upgrade. So the Doctor comes in and saves the day. You also have Beverly Crusher, is whenever a crew upgrade equipped to the ship would be disabled, you may disable this card instead, or if it's discarded, you may discard this card instead. So there are definitely counters around it. But yeah, Dureth is very, very Vidian-like, and I am very happy about his thematic theme. Then we got another Vidian captain here. This is Nadrium. Skill 5, elite talent slot, cost of 3. Action. If equipped to a Vidian ship, this is a free action instead. Place 3 time tokens on this card and target an opposing ship within range 1. Discard one crew upgrade equipped to the target ship. So again, we're doing very Vidian things, where the last Vidian captain wants to disable, Nadrium is discarding. So again, you got the same card set up here. Still pairs well with second of 5 and Vidian Sodality, and then you've got the same cards that kind of counter him. Again, very, very Vidian-like, doing Vidian things. I'm very happy with his thematic theme as well. Alright, now you've got Car. So this is a brand new version of Car. This is an errata version of Car. Heroic Captain, skill 8, 2 elite talent slots, cost of 6. That's well worth it. When attacking, roll attack dice step. If your captain skill is greater than the defending ship's captain skill, roll +1 attack die. When attacking, modify attack dice step. You may re-roll one of your attack dice up to 2 times. So same abilities, just the text and the language is cleaned up. And then you've got the elite talent that works well with Carr, which is Lone Hunt. If there are no friendly ships within range of this ship, the ship rolls +1 attack die this game round. So you can definitely build up your attack dice that way. Relics is another good pairing. This can only be equipped to a Hirogen Captain or Admiral. In phase, if this ship is hit by an opposing ship in phase, if this ship hit an opposing ship with an attack this game round, place one mission token on this card to a max of 3. Activation phase, spend one mission token on this card and perform an action on this ship's action bar as a free action. So Relics gives you kind of more action economy. You're able to do more things. One of the cards that I like to pair Carr with a lot is Torpedo Fusillade, because you get that attack dice for every attack you make, and Fusillade, you make those separate attacks. So you're going to be adding +1 to each of those attacks. Now, the bottom 3 cards here are all cards associated with increasing captain skill. So Riker, he increases the captain skill up to 3. So we're talking 8, 9, 10, 11 right there. Gordon Trooper is by 1, and of course Beta Hirogen's by 1. So there's ways to bring your captain skill up so that you ensure that Carr is the highest captain skill on the board. Alright, so now we're going to bring in his Admiral version, which is a brand new card. So Carr, Hirogen Admiral, +2, 2 elite talent slots still, 6 points. Fleet action, target an opposing ship within range 1. Place 1 time token on the target ship's ship card. So, wow. Okay, he is another card that's going to break up some of these major abilities that we've seen. Whenever a friendly ship within range attacks an opposing ship with any time tokens on its ship card, that ship may reroll 1 blank or a battle station. If that ship is a Hirogen hunting vessel, or Hirogen warship, it may reroll 1 blank or 1 battle station up to 2 times. So kind of a play on his reroll ability there. But again, he pairs well with any of the Hirogen ships. That's why I put all of them up there. Now, interesting, the bottom 3 ships I got here, you put time tokens on it, their abilities are gone for that round until that time token is gone. So, and that's a fleet action, so that happens in the activation phase. So when you're going into the combat phase, where Lurin's Bird of Prey's ability matters, you can all of a sudden wipe it out, and now Lurin's Bird of Prey has to attack in initiative order. You've got the USS Sutherland, which is very annoying with its cancel 1 hit. You can get rid of that. You've got the Koskari that loves to steal tokens from ships with smaller hull. I'm sorry, with ships with larger hull. Now you can blank that out. A time token on each one of those ships is very devastating to any kind of synergy builds. So I'm very excited about Carr, the Hirogen Admiral version of him. His Captain version's great. I think his Admiral version is even better because it shows him outsmarting his opponents, his prey, if you will. All right, so pulling up the next captain, which is Captain number 9. This is Turinge. He's a Hirogen captain. When attacking, modify attack dice step. If your captain skill is less than the defending ship's captain skill, you get to add a crit. He's a skill 7, elite talent slot, cost of 4. So there's a lot of captains that are lower than 7. So the question is, well, how do we get him below that? One of the good answers is Meridorn Gourd Ale, which pairs well because it's an indie upgrade already, which states you can place 3 time tokens on this card and decrease the captain skill equipped to the ship by 2, and then increase the ship's primary weapon value by the same amount. So you can lower him down to a skill 5 and increase your primary weapon value by +2. Q is already a -1 with his Admiral, and then you got Admiral Matt Decker, who's also a -1. So just ways to try and lower his captain skill so you can take full advantage of his ability. And then we've got the last captain here, which is Iden. He is from the holographic episode where the Hirogen had the holographic rebellion, and all those holograms were killing Hirogen, and they needed to stop them. Uh, so you cannot have an admiral or an ambassador equipped to the ship. This card costs -1 SP for each independent question mark upgrade equipped to the ship. When attacking, modify attack dice step. If the defending ship is an independent ship or has any question marks equipped to it, add 1 crit. He is a skill 10, elite talent slot, cost 10. Now that may be a very, very high cost to pay, but as you can see on the screen, there are 6 question marks right there that are all independent. So you minus those 6 if you're able to equip them, and boom, he's down to a cost of 4. So there's ways to do this. For example, Marador Gornale doesn't need a slot. Uh, Optronic data core counts as a upgrade, as a weapon or a tech upgrade. Captured doesn't require a slot. So if you get like the Dauntless or something and you've got a lot of tech upgrade slots, you can do this. You can keep piling these on. You can put repurposed cargo hold into a tech slot upgrade, and then you gives you another tech slot upgrade, which then you can put Vic Fontaine in. You can clown card this to make Iden as free as you want. And of course, I didn't even put in here the 2 other holographic crew that came in the pack, Weiss and Kajal. So there's 2 more that you could even lower this down to. So there is a way to do this, and we'll probably explore how to make him cheaper in the future, in a future episode. Um, but very interesting. I didn't put him in here because he's got any like super great combos or anything. I just put him in here because I find that him being a cost of 10 and then -1 for each question mark independent upgrade is kind of what I want to showcase. So that is all the captains from this pack. So we will move on to the crew. So the first crew is Turanj, and he has got a new keyword, which I got the rules card up there. So add 1 crew to the ship's upgrade bar. First officer, when attacking, deal damage step. Discard the unique captain equipped to the ship. Add 1 crit, and then flip this card over and equip it as the captain. So the first officer is a keyword is a brand new mechanic in the game, which it's kind of been in the game for a while, but I believe this is the best way to do it. This is a better way to do it. So in the middle of this rules card here, you got first officer. So cards with the first officer keyword will be able to take over as the captain and flip their card over to the captain side when the conditions have been met listed after the first officer keyword. So Taranjan is going to take over. He's no longer going to be a skill 5. He can be his captain card. That's the cool part about this. The next crew is Mobar. So opposing ships within range that have a permanent effect token beside them roll -1 defense dice. In addition, if that token is a reputation permanent effect token, battle station, scan, and or evade tokens spent by the ship are placed beside this ship instead of returning to the action token supply. Cost of 3. So again, Mobar is looking for permanent effect tokens, or more specifically that reputation token from Dala. So Dala pairs well with him because that is the person he was in the episode with. He's impersonating Tuvok here. But he also calls out other permanent effect tokens. So he does pair well with Yasek. He does pair well with Kuros, who does the same thing. And of course, a natural counter to him is logic is the beginning of wisdom by moving that token around. So not really much to say here. I like the idea that he is conning ships out of their tokens and taking those tokens for himself. Very thematic to him as well. So the next crew in this pack is Czar, who is again one of those con artists who was portraying Captain Chakotay. So the captains equipped to opposing ships within range that have a permanent effect token beside them have -1 captain skill. If the token is a reputation permanent effect token, that ship has -2 captain skill instead. Cost of 1. So again, naturally pairs well with Dala, Yasek, and Kuros, getting those permanent effect tokens out there. And of course, with the reputation one that Dala gives out, it increases the reduction in captain skill. And of course, logic is the beginning of wisdom. Again, is the natural counter to this, along with concussive charge that we had talked about. So Kuros, he's the next crew here. So target an opposing ship within range of your opponent, and you must choose one of the following. So you got to be within range one. So you get to choose one of the following, which is place a bounty permanent effect token besides the target ship, if it does not already have one. Steal either a battle station, invade, or a scan token from besides the target ship, and place that token besides this ship. Or once per game, you get to steal one unique crew upgrade equipped to the target ship and equip it to this ship, ignoring this ship's restrictions. So, very thematic to the Think Tank episode where Kuros hires bounty hunters when people don't pay up, or he attempts to outthink the players' ships or the players by using tokens, or he attempts to steal a crew, much like he tried to recruit 7 of 9 to the think tank. Permanent effect. For the rest of the game, each ship converts one blank or battle station into a hit each time they attack a ship with a permanent bounty permanent effect token. It's kind of the same thing with Yusek. Um, of course, the natural counters to him are going to be logic is the beginning of wisdom and concussive charge to get rid of that effect token. And then you got Mobar and Zar, which also interact with that effect token. So there's a lot of cards that kind of handshake and work well with each other in this pack. Alright, so the next crew is Tau. Planning phase. Target this ship or another ship within range 1 to 2 and place a token on this card besides the target ship. Okay, and then combat phase. Target an opposing ship within range. Steal either one scan, battle station, invade, or Ox power token besides the target ship, and place it on this card. So it's cost of 3. So Tau is very interesting to me. So I think he pairs well with the Koskari. So going on the Koskari, where the Koskari wants to steal your tokens anyway, Tau is another kind of cog in that wheel of stealing tokens, and then in the next planning phase, you can put that token by the Koskari. Um, I'd put the ISS Avenger here because the Avenger wants an Ox power token to gain +2 attack dice to make it bare its teeth. But Tau has an interesting ability where you can steal an Ox power token. So at the start of the combat phase, you can target the ISS Avenger and take its Ox power token away, which depowers it. I thought that was very interesting when I saw that and looked at it, and I was like, man, I don't know if that's ever really been a thing before, but that's interesting. And then on top of it, you put that Ox power token on this card, and then in the planning phase, you can target another ship in that person's fleet within range and put that Ox power token next to that ship. So maybe it's a ship that's got an Ox power token already, and the player is hoping to clear that with a green maneuver. Well, now you give them the second Ox power token, and it's like, oh shoot, you just kind of ruin their plans. Another thing to be aware of here is the brand new Tom Paris. And we'll talk about him more in that faction pack breakdown. But depending on initiative and who is going first, it's possible that Tau could steal that evade token from Paris, so that Paris can't use his ability. So Tau allows you to kind of go in and steal things and prevent you from doing combos that you're trying to do. And I really like that, and I appreciate this card. It's probably something that'll make it into one of my Koskari builds, as I'm all about running like a torpedo fusillade with the Koskari and stealing as many tokens as possible. But if if I come across a ship that has the same hull value, or yeah, that has the same hull value as Kaskari, I can't steal a token. But with Tau, I can now steal that token. So Tau presents a lot of interesting options. All right. So the next crew is Vidian Guard. It is one per ship, and then you increase the captain skill of a Vidian captain equipped to the ship by two. Whenever an opposing ship within range would remove a disable token from one of their crew upgrades, you discard this card, and that disable token cannot be removed this game round. Uh, so very interesting ability there too, very Vidian-like. Um, I did pull up all of the Vidian captains that they are compatible with. So you got Vidian Commander, which is Vidian Captain, Nardrium, Dareth, Vidian Captain. Um, and you sit there and you look, you go, well, now Nardrium's a 7, Dareth is a 5, Vidian Captain's a 6, and Vidian Commander is now a 9. So that's a pretty high captain skill for a Vidian. And then you got Jennifer Cisco or Koth. Those cards at the start of the game allow you to put disabled tokens on to crew. So if you're in range and your opponent hasn't removed those disabled tokens yet, then Vidian Guard can make sure that those tokens don't go away yet. On top of that, Vidian Guard, you can use Vidian Sodality. You can spend a mission token to make sure Vidian Guard isn't discarded. So there's another kind of combo that I didn't put on here and I should have. Um, an interesting one is Luxwana Troy, where the negotiation part is denied. You get to place 3 time tokens and a disable token on the target captain or crew upgrade. So she's another way to get a disable token onto a crew upgrade so that Vidian Guard can make sure it doesn't get removed. Alright, so the next crew is Sulan, who says, action, discard this card and target an opposing ship within range 1. Disable up to 2 crew upgrades equipped to the target ship. So, again, pairs well with Jennifer Cisco and Koth, if you can get over there quick enough. Pairs well with Vidian Guard. And then, interestingly enough, pairs well with Parlenor, where Parlenor ship gets destroyed and you've got a stack of gold press latinum on him. Then you get to put him on an opposing ship, and then you get to spend that gold press latinum to put a disabled token on an upgrade equipped to this ship. So you could possibly disable the ship from inside. Uh, Very interesting, but again, I'm loving that these Vidians have a clear theme where they are wanting to look at your crew. They are wanting to do things with your crew. Next crew, the next crew upgrade is Coven. Add 1 weapon slot to the ship's upgrade bar. Whenever you would place 3 or more time tokens on a weapon upgrade equipped to the ship, place 1 token on this card and place a disabled token on that weapon upgrade instead. Now you might be thinking, why would you do that? Why would you replace time tokens with a disabled token? Well, there is kind of a hidden combo that I call a conveyor belt. Um, and that happens to deal with Miles O'Brien and Julian Bashir. So you do an attack, you do Coven, you put, instead of time tokens, you put disable token on your weapons upgrade. Um, During the planning phase, Miles O'Brien removes that token from a tech or weapon upgrade, but you disable him. So he disables in the planning phase, and then you go to the activation phase. Now Julian Bashir says target a crew equipped to this ship or another ship and remove 2 time tokens or a disabled token. And he doesn't disable himself. So there is a clear conveyor belt from when you put the disable token on the weapon to the planning phase to the activation phase, where you clear everything out without having to do an action. Granted, that conveyor belt costs 4 points and 2 crew slots, but it's one of those conveyor belts that I use often, especially if I got a tankier, bigger build that I need to use something. Of course, Coven works well with the weapon that he was trying to sell to the USS Voyager. As you remember, that's the episode he's from, is the isokinetic cannon episode, where 709 accused him of taking nanoprobes from her. So the attack value of this weapon is the ship's primary weapon plus 1. Place 4 time tokens on this card. So he definitely works where you get to place a disabled token on the isokinetic cannon instead. and then place one time token on Coven. And of course, you get the conveyor belt running. You'll get Coven back next turn, and Miles O'Brien, Julian Bashir will take care of that disable token off the isokinetic cannon. Same thing with Disruptor Bombardment. You can get the conveyor belt running with that. Again, that's going to cost 6 points and 3 crew slots if you can get it onto a Gordon Raider. But that's an interesting thing to try and run. Same thing with phaser cannons. You can possibly use them every round if you've got the conveyor belt going. And then heavy plasma torpedo is another one that I wanted to highlight. So Coven, very interesting, brings a new dynamic to my conveyor belt builds, and I will probably try and get him in there. I'm excited to try and use this isokinetic cannon and do it that way, but we will see how that goes. So the last crew in this faction pack is Donic. So Donic is an errata as well. He replaces the older version of him that came from the Hirogen Hunting Vessel card pack, I believe. So he is locked to Hirogen vessels only. The ship cannot be targeted by weapon upgrades fired through a rear firing arc. When defending, if the attacking ship has any question mark upgrades equipped to their ship, roll +1 defense dice. So, again, he's locked to these Hirogen warships here: Hunting Vessel, Relic Stalker, Alpha Hunter. But one of the interesting and one of the most used independent question upgrades is Captured. So Donic now gives you a defense dice if somebody's running Captured. Same thing with Iden. Iden, he's going to do all that, and then you've got Gorn Ale here, which is another common card that gets run in those fleets. So Donic provides a little bit of defense against those as well. So there's all the crew that came in this faction pack. I've got some of my favorites here. I think Tau and Coven are my two favorites. Mobar, Zar, Kuros, the Vidian Guard, Sulon, those are all very thematic and very well thought out. And then, of course, you got Taranj, who has that brand new ability, a new keyword ability there. I'm pretty excited about that ability, and I like to see it on something other than a non-Federation card. And then, of course, you got Donic, who does some stuff, but he's probably my least favorite out of all of these. But overall, I think this is a great addition to the crew for the independent side. Very excited to see how people play with them, see them in battle reports, and going forward. So we're going to take a look at the 3 elite talents. And the first one is a doozy. So this is Life of Piracy. It is 1 per ship. It is locked to a independent captain. So we're gonna spend some time on this one here. Setup. This ship may start the game either within range of a planet obstacle or within range of at least 2 non-planet obstacles. Gain the ability based on the printed faction symbol of the captain this card is equipped to. So, if it's a Ferengi, in phase you may discard a battle stations token beside the ship and place 1 gold press platinum token on the captain equipped to the ship. Okay, that's cool because a lot of times when I run Ferengi, I use their gold press platinum in the combat phase to get a battle stations token. So what this is saying is, hey, if you didn't use that battle station token, you can get your gold press platinum back. You get a refund. I'm pretty cool with that. And then Klingon combat phase, you may perform a sensor echo action as a free action, even if this ship is not cloaked. Now you might be thinking, well, okay, that's a little much because how are you going to get an independent captain locked card equipped to a Klingon captain? Well, there is only one card that's like that right now, and it is the dual faction Klingon independent captain, the Albino. So this card strengthens the Albino, which is very thematic because the Albino himself was an Orion Syndicate member. He was a pirate. So that makes sense. Now, the second ability there with the Ferengi and the Klingons, that's not really what's getting a lot of people upset with this card. What's getting a lot of people upset is the setup, and we'll talk more about that. We'll talk more about that here in the next couple of images. but I want to say that he pairs very well with Lurin, who is kind of my go-to Ferengi captain. Uh, Pairs well with the albino, and then pairs well with Tar, who is kind of a lesser unknown Ferengi captain. Skill 3, cost 2. You see him a lot in um, Lurin builds where he's the other friendly captain, but he gives you a battle stations token if you got an enemy ship in range. So that's another way to get the battle station token, and then now Tar's got a way to earn gold press platinum that he didn't have previously. So the setup ability of this card pairs well with these three cards: Cloaked Mines, Disruptor Bombardment, and Verteron Pulse Trap. Now, Cloaked Mines is a thing that everybody is aware of. Nobody really likes them, but they are a part of the game, and we all have to deal with them. We do have multiple counters for Cloaked Mines now, more now than we ever did before. But it's all about where the ship sets up and how it can set up Cloaked Mines early. So we'll talk about that. Disruptor Bombardment, same thing. And then Verteron Pulse Trap, which has an interesting premise behind it, where it uses a minefield token. Now remember, minefield tokens are considered obstacle tokens. They are in the obstacle token section of the rulebook. So Life of Piracy could utilize a Verteron Pulse Trap as one of its two non-planet obstacles to try and set up from. Now, there is a defense against the top section of this card, and it's a little known rule in the rulebook. So, it's right here. Now, it's not this first paragraph, but this is the section it's in. It's on page 26 of the core rulebook. So the way you defend against this, the setup portion of this card, is this. So starting with a player who has initiative, you place the obstacles after. Sorry, it's this third paragraph down here. After placing all the obstacles, players choose their starting areas in reverse initiative order. So if a player who has initiative has Life of Piracy equipped to their fleet, and they set up obstacle tokens or a planet token where they're trying to ambush you from, they have a 50-50 chance of not doing that. Because now, if they have initiative and you don't, you get to pick where you start. So you can start on your side of the board, or you can start on the other side of the board. You can flip the board, which could potentially ruin whatever plans they have. So to kind of show this is what I'm talking about. And I just used a Gorn Raider here as kind of a filler. You can see this lighter brown area is the opposing player's starting area. And that is range 1. And then between the two yellow lines is range 2, and then you got the middle of the board. So if you place a planet token in the middle of the board, Life of Piracy states that you have to be within range 1 of the planet obstacle for setup. Meaning, your ship can set like this, where it's just barely in range 1. That's technically in range 1. But now your ship's set up like this, and the opposing fleet is across the table from you. And now, especially if you're a Gorn ship, you can do a Disruptor Bombardment fairly quickly, or you can move forward and set up minefield tokens right here and really limit and restrict the board movement. There is a way to get 4 minefield tokens onto a ship. It gets kind of worse even with obstacle tokens. So obstacle tokens, according to the obstacle rules, cannot be set up within range 2 of any board edge. So these obstacle tokens are technically in range 3. No, they're in range 2. They need to come this way a little bit, but yeah, the obstacle tokens allow you to set up in your opposing player's starting area. And they, it really affects the game, but you have the one defense where you can flip the board. If you flip the board, then all of a sudden those obstacle tokens become useless where they're set up. I know a lot of talk has been happening about this card kind of in the Discord server where we've been talking about it a lot. Um, I don't know exactly what the full extent is um, of whatever we're going to rule on it yet, but it's a card that a lot of people have questions about. It's not because mechanically, to me, it's not because mechanically the card's broken. It's more that people are scared of what the card can do, and it hasn't fully been tested out in the public. It's been play tested and all of that, and that's fine and great, but the public hasn't had their hands on it for very long. And I haven't seen a lot of things about it in the Facebook group yet. So I'll be interested once this card starts to kind of unravel its secrets. Um, but Life of Piracy it's an interesting card. I think it might be ahead of its time a little bit, um, but it's one of those cards that's very divisive. So that's one of two cards in this pack that's divisive. The other one being Dala, which I don't think is on the same level as Life of Piracy, as Dala represents, or she represents something else. She's got counters. She herself is a counter to some of the bigger builds. So let's go ahead and load up the next elite talent. So we got a new version of Vidian's Sodality. It says this card may only be equipped to a Vidian captain. Of course, locked to a Vidian ship. When this ship or card equipped to it disables or discards a crew upgrade equipped to an opposing ship, you get to place a mission token on this card. When a independent crew upgrade or captain equipped to the ship would be discarded, you may discard one mission token on this card instead. So, Vidian Sodality works very well with Vidian Captain, which disables a crew. He works well with the Vidian Commander, Dareth, Nardium, Matura, who discards one crew equipped to a target ship. Um, Vidian Sodality works well with all of these cards. Works well even with this holographic Weiss, where disable one crew upgrade equipped to the target ship, and then place uh, an evade token next to your ship. So, works very well. I like it. It's very thematic. Gives the Vidians something interesting to do. And of course, like I said, this is a errated version. So here's the new version versus the old version. Not much has changed in the way of wording. It's just been updated and kind of cleaned up. Alright, and we got Relics, which is also an errata. This card may only be equipped to a Heroic Captain or Admiral. In phase, if the ship hit an opposing ship with its attack this game round, place one mission token on this card to a max of 3. Activation phase, spend one mission token on this card to perform an action on the ship's action bar as a free action. So again, here are all of the Heroic Captains that Relics is going to work with. It is not locked to a Heroic ship. It is just locked to a Heroic Captain and or Admiral. And it allows you to do free action stuff with the activation phase. So you'll notice that most of these Heroic here don't have actions, but Relics allows them to do a second action. And of course, Relics is an errata as well. As you can see, the top line was changed here. Can only be equipped to Car or Heroic Captain. New card states can only be equipped to Heroic Captain or Admiral. So Car is now covered inside of that. And they've replaced the mission token text with the actual image of a mission token. So again, just going back through and cleaning up some of these older card texts, which is nice to see. So there are the 3 elite talents that came in this pack. Obviously, Life of Piracy is the one that got the most attention because of it being so new. Vidian Sodality and Relics we've already had in the game for a while, but it'll be interesting to start seeing kind of their use the more people play with Vidians and Heroic. Alright, so we've got 4 weapon upgrades in this pack. We've got Tetrion Particle Weapon, which is locked to a Narada type. Attack. Place 2 time tokens on this target and target opposing ship range 1 to 3. Hits and crits from this attack cannot be modified, rerolled, or cancelled by opposing card effects. Okay, so what's important about this card? Well, two time tokens is great because now you can pair it with Kalana, who says place one fewer on it. So now you can use this range 1 to 3 weapon pretty much every round. Um, Also, Balana's Codes allows you to take those two time tokens and put it on her card instead. If you wanted to go that route, Car pairs well with this because you can roll another attack dice and make this 5 dice attack. And he allows you to re-roll a dice, which is going to be a common theme here because you want your dice to be hits or crits. So you have to find a way to convert those blanks and battle stations into hits or crits, and then they can't be canceled by opposing card effects. So they can still be canceled by defense die roll. So a good defense. This card is a good defender against like the USS Sutherland, which does cancel a hit. Sutherland can't cancel a hit from this weapon. Of course, you got Belana Torres here, who is again, she's another card that allows you to reroll a blank. Mr. Spock, if you do a scan token, will allow you to change your battle stations into hits. And then, of course, you got Drex, who is an action who converts your battle stations into hits, and one of them being a crit. So all these cards pair very well with this. It's a good defense against ships like the USS Sutherland. So very nice weapon there. Next weapon is the Isokinetic Cannon. Place 4 time tokens on this card and target an opposing ship. Declare target step. Disable one tech upgrade equipped to the defending ship. So you can only have one per ship, and it can only be fired out of the forward firing arc. And it is your primary weapon value plus 1. So of course the natural pairing here is going to be Coven, who says place a disable token instead. You can put Kalana on here, who will reduce it to 3 time tokens, but it's kind of a wasted card there if you do that. And then of course you got Balana's Codes, which you can place all 4 time tokens on Balana's Codes and fire Isokinetic Cannon the next round. I'm very interested about the disabling tech upgrades because now you can turn off things like shield adaptation, and it's in the declare target step. So you don't even have to roll your attack dice. You declare target step, you turn off shield adaptation, and now Isokinetic Cannon is going to hit you pretty hard, and you can't rely on shield adaptation to do any of that. So it's a very good defense against shield adaptation. Alright, so the next weapon in this pack is Targeted Phaser Strike. It is 1 per ship, forward firing arc only. It's an attack of 4. If this ship has a target lock token on the defending ship, place 3 time tokens on this card and target that opposing ship. So you don't have to spend your time token or your target lock token. Deal damage step. Apply the effect based on which of the defending ship's arcs you're in. If you're in the forward firing arc, discard a crew equipped to the defending ship. If you're in the rear firing arc, discard one weapon upgrade equipped to the defending ship. And if you're not in the forward or rear firing arc, you get to place an aux power token besides the defending ship. It is a range 1 to 2 attack. So targeted phaser strike, this card makes it more interesting than it was before, especially with the idea of, hey, if you're in this firing arc, you get to do this. So I like that. So again, Kalana pairs well here to bring this down to 2 time tokens. Of course, you can put those time tokens on Balana's Codes and fire this again next round. You got Vidian Sodality that this works well with, especially with discarding crew upgrades. And then Metaphasic Sweep, which is a free action to discard and get you a target lock, even if it's on a cloaked ship. So this can obviously give you defense against a lot of things. Say your opposing ship has a torpedo fusillade that they haven't fired yet. You're in the rear firing arc, then you can fire and get rid of that. Alright, the last weapon in this pack is Grapplers. The attack value is the weapon ships plus. Is the weapons. The attack value of this secondary weapon is the ship's primary weapon plus 1. Place 2 time tokens on this card to target an opposing ship. If the defending ship has no active shields, you may re-roll each of your blanks. If this attack hits, the defending ship cannot perform a maneuver with a speed greater than 1 during the next game round. Okay, so again, Kalana and Balana's Codes are going to make an appearance here. because we're talking time tokens. So she takes away those time tokens. Kalana makes it a one time token. Polana's codes will eat up both of those time tokens. So, but if the defending ship has no active shields, you may re-roll each of your blanks. So how do we do that? Well, you can use projected stasis field to turn the shields off, or you can pair it with the Vidian ship that turns shields off. Um, Another interesting thing I thought of was pairing it with the tractor beam from the Hirogen hunting vessel pack. Target an opposing ship. The target ship reveals all white maneuvers as red maneuvers and all green maneuvers as white maneuvers this game round. So if you hit the ship with grapplers, they can't go higher than the speed of 1. And tractor beam says, well, now that's also a white maneuver. You can't clear anything. Sakona is another good pairing here because she makes grapplers free. Metaphasic Sweep, again, that gives you a free target lock that you can do to re-roll some dice. So that is all of the weapons in this pack. Not bad. I'm mostly excited for Isokinetic Cannon and Tetrion Particle Weapon. I think Isokinetic Cannon has very interesting timing, especially with the Declare Target step, turning off a tech. I think that's very cool, and it might have gone unnoticed right now. So we'll definitely see about that here in the future. All right, we're looking at tech. So this is for the Numeri patrol ship only. It is 1 per ship. Regenerative shielding. Increase this ship's shield value by 1. In phase, you may repair 1 shield on this ship. So obviously, it can only go onto a Numeri patrol ship. But one of the interesting things I thought of was, well, okay, so this is obviously meant to repair and help heal a Numeri patrol ship. So it definitely will pair well with cards that are meant to do that. Things like Exocomp, which repairs hull damage. Sonia Gomez, which does hull damage or shields. You got Tarek, which repairs a shield. T9 Energy Converter, which you disable and remove an aux power and then repair a shield. So you can pair it and possibly repair a couple of shields in the end phase. Alright, we've got the Refractive Shielding, 1 per ship. Increase the ship's shield and agility values by 1. When defending, if the ship has active shields and the attacking ship within range does not have a scan token beside it, skip the modify attack dice step. So that's kind of important here. That means that the opposing player that's targeting you can't modify their attack dice. That means that whatever they roll, they have to go with. And we all know that the dice gods are not happy, and they don't giveth a lot of hits or crits. So a lot of that's passive and revolves around modifying your attack dice. So if you can remove that from them, then you're even better. So obviously, the first thing I thought of was, okay, we're increasing the ship's shield and agility values by 1. How do we increase defense? Which obviously you come to Hood Riker, or Tom Paris OG, and then Hikaru Sulu, who give you extra defense dice. So my second thought was, how do we get rid of a scan token from besides these ships? Because we got a lot of ships that run scan shenanigans now. And you know what? A Mortimer Heron is a good option, where you spend your scan token from besides the ship, and then you can remove a battle station, scan, evade, or aux power from the target ship. So he's one way to do it. Pavel Chekhov is another way. Place 3 time tokens on this card, target an opposing ship, and remove a scan token. Enrique Muniz is another way. When attacking or defending, place 2 time tokens on this card and target a friendly ship. This ship may use 1 battle station, evade, or scan token besides the target ship, as if it was besides this ship this game round. Now, a lot of you people are saying, wait, Jerry. Muniz doesn't help you here because you're not getting rid of the scan token. And I say, good eye. However, there was a rule change to scan tokens. So, with Muniz, you can you do this rule card here. So this is the scanner action errata. When attacking, roll defense die step. The defending ship rolls -1 defense die for each scan token besides the ship. We already know that. When defending, modify attack die step. Spend any number of scan tokens besides this ship, and you can convert one battle station into one blank for each scan token spent. Great. So now Munez can target that ship when attacking or when defending. You can target the ship and spend its scan token to change one of its dice. And then that scan token is spent and has to be removed. So that's another way to get rid of a scan. And I thought that was an interesting way to kind of highlight these new rules cards. Alright, the next one is the Translocator, which is 1 per ship, locked to an indie ship only. Action, discard this card and target an opposing ship within range 1. Steal 1 tech or weapon upgrade equipped to the target ship and equip it to the ship, ignoring the ship's restrictions. It's a pretty straightforward ability. It's not going to pair well with much, but you've got Calvin Hudson here who will discount it. Captured allows you to put it on whatever ship you want to, because captured gives the ship the independent faction. Tuvok will give, again, a discount to this. Same with the Pegasus, Assimilation Target Prime. And the Dauntless, which was interesting, was each time you perform an action or use an ability on one of your tech upgrades, you get to place a mission token on this card. During the roll attack die step, you may spend up to 2 of these tokens to gain +1 attack, +1 attack die for that attack for each token spent. So Translocator can help you build the Dauntless up and then attack. Use those mission tokens to attack with it. All right. The next tech here is Stealth Mode. It is 1 per ship, locked to a Hirogen warship. Activation phase, place 2 time tokens on this card and perform a sensor echo action as a free action. So Stealth Mode is the Alpha Hunter's ability, but it's able to give it out to all of the Hirogen warships. So the Relic Stalker and the Hirogen Hunting Vessel, just to name the two. So one cool thing here is B'Elanna Torres pairs well with this. She can remove a time token from a tech upgrade, but you also have to disable her. So you got to have a way. Julian Bashir to get rid of that disable token. Idrin also remove 1 disable token or 2 time token upgrades from a tech or weapon equipped to this ship, which you have to place 2 time tokens on him. But if you pair him with Ezri Dax, Dax states place 1 fewer on captains and crew, so Dax will make sure that Idrin can be used every single turn. So basically, you can use stealth mode every turn if you have Idrin and Ezri Dax on your ship, which I believe all of the Hirogen hunting vessels will allow for that pairing. Idrin's just a skill 3, so that's kind of the gist of him there. He's not a very high captain skill, but he will allow you to do a stealth mode every single round. Alright, the next one is Improved Deflector Screens. This is an errata card, so this just takes Improved Deflector Screens or the original card and cleans it up by a lot. So obviously, when defending, compare result step. If you have any active shields, cancel 1 hit or crit. This is 1 per ship. Can only go on to ships that have a hull of 3 or less. So I pulled out all of the independent ships here that have a hull of 3 or less. So you're talking your Hirogen warships, your Gorn Raiders, your Maquis Raiders. The Gressrel can have it, which is interesting because if you pair it with the Gressrel, then you're canceling a hit or a crit each round twice. You got the USS Reliant that you can put it on, or the new Nasari starship, the Narada type. So again, this is kind of why I'm enjoying these erratas, because the card on the left is the old one, and that's the text. It's a lot, so there's a lot of parts to it, and you kind of had to break it down and kind of figure it out yourself. But now the card on the right is the new one, and everything is just made more simple. The card on the right says exactly what the card on the left says, just better. Alright, so the final tech in this pack is Monotanium Armor Plating. Again, this is a errata of the original, so it is one per ship. Whenever an opposing ship would place a red target lock token besides the ship, roll 2 defense dice. If you roll at least 1 evade, discard the token and the matching blue token besides the opposing ship. Action: disable this card. Remove each red token besides this ship and the matching blue tokens beside the opposing ships. So uh, one of the natural combos that I had thought of for this card specifically is the brand new USS Excelsior from These Are the Voyages. And the reason I thought that was because each time an opposing ship within range 1 to 3 would try to acquire a blue target lock token, this ship must be the target. If able, then remove a disable token from the crew upgrade equipped to this ship. So now you pair Monotanium Armor Plating onto the Excelsior, everyone has to target the Excelsior, and you get to roll these defense dice each time. And they might fail, they might get it. Who knows? But I like that, and of course, if you fail and you've got a bunch of target locks against the Excelsior, you can always use Miles O'Brien here. You disable him, and you take the disable token off of Monotanium Armor Plating, and then you use a card like Julian Bashir, like we had talked about in the conveyor belt, and there you go. So again, here is the errata card. The old card being on the left, new card being on the right. You can see that the card on the left had a lot of wording again that you had to kind of sift through. Card on the left says the exact same thing. I'm sorry, the card on the right says the exact same thing as the card on the left. Just cleaned up better. It's got the steps better defined. So there you have it. That is all of the tech upgrades from this pack. Again, a lot to be excited about here. Refractive shielding, I'm pretty excited for stealth mode being on every single Herojan warship is great, and then of course I do like the 2 errata cards that came in this. Overall, fairly strong tech coming in this pack, and the independent faction really needed it. So we've got 3 question mark upgrades that came in this pack as well. First one is going to be Weiss. This card counts as a crew upgrade or a tech upgrade. Action: disable this card and target opposing ship within range 1 to 2. Disable 1 crew upgrade equipped to the target ship and place an evade token besides this ship. So again, he's going to pair well with Vidian Sodality. The only problem is he gets disabled. So how do you clear that action up? Well, Cajal allows you to remove a disable token from a question mark upgrade. And then you've got Uptronic Core here that also allows you to remove a disable from a question mark upgrade. So we're getting a lot of these question mark upgrades kind of interacting with themselves, and it's kind of nice to finally see. So the next card in the pack is Cajal. This card counts as a crew or a tech upgrade. Action: you may remove a disable token from a crew or question mark upgrade equipped to the ship and repair 1 hull or shield on this ship. So again, she's going to pair well with any of these question marks that have an action disable, or they disable themselves for some reason. Weiss, Ultronic Data Core, the Doctor disables himself. EMH Mark 1 disables himself. Mark 2. And then, of course, Photon Detonation, which was an interesting one. It's disable this card and place 3 time tokens on Photon Torpedoes. So now you pair Cajal and Photon Detonation with each other, you kind of got a way to start removing Minefield tokens out of play. As long as you got Photon Torpedoes that you can place 3 time tokens on, which, again, there are ways to get around that too. We're talking Colada or Balana's Codes, any of those. So the third is Optronic Data Core, which this is not a new card. It is a reprint that's coming in this, and it's not an errata. But that's okay, because originally we kind of were stumped by why we got this card, because there wasn't really anything it could do. Fast forward a couple of years now, the card is more useful now than it was then. So, Optronic Data Core, 1 per ship. This card counts as a weapon or tech upgrade. Activation phase, place 3 time tokens on this card. Perform the action listed on a question mark upgrade equipped to the ship as a free action. Activation phase, disable this card. Remove a disable token from a question mark upgrade equipped to the ship. And it is a dual independent Federation card. I believe this is the data core that the Federation gave the Herodian to use holograms as kind of their prey. Of course, it's going to pair well with any of these question marks that do anything that need to be disabled. You can place 3 time tokens on it to do any actions as a free action, so it pairs well with each other. Now you've got the last one, which is your Photonic Field Generator. This card counts as a weapon upgrade or a tech upgrade. You may perform actions listed on your question mark upgrades equipped to the ship, even if you have any aux power tokens beside it. Opposing ships within range 1 to 2 cannot discard or disable other independent question upgrades equipped to the ship. So again, this is going to pair well with every question mark card we got listed here. So with these cards, I think that episode where the Herodian were fighting the holograms definitely got its representation in this pack. I like the fact that they didn't just make them crew, and that they did instead make them question mark upgrades like they have in the past with the Doctor or the EMH Mark 1 and Mark 2. So I really like that they were keeping that consistency throughout these cards. So that is the end of this episode of the Captain's Table. That was the breakdown of Adversaries of the Delta Quadrant. If you see any other combos that maybe I missed or something obvious that I missed, please put it in a comment section or in the comment section below. Obviously, continue the conversation there. I'm excited to talk about these packs. Also, tell me your battle reports. What cards have you used out of this pack? What cards do you find frustrating? I want to hear it all. And of course, please give the video a thumbs up so that we know you can like this content and I can continue to kind of produce this content. And share it with other Attack Wing players or share it in the communities. The more eyeballs and attention we get on these videos, the more people are going to play. At least that's what I would like to think. But of course, all of you guys' support over this time, these months that I've been pumping out the content has been great, and I appreciate every single one of it. So be on the lookout for the next Captain's Table episode, and until next time, we'll see you around the shipyard.